welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So in this video we're reading Think and Grow Rich. We are on imagination. Visualization is a huge part of manifestation, and if you find that you're not manifesting certain things in your life, I'm telling you, visualization is the key. Because when I would visualize the things that I want on a daily basis, it would manifest so freaking quickly. So I'm very excited about this chapter. So if you're new here, welcome. Here we talk spirituality, we talk purpose, we talk self-development, and I love reading to you. I enjoy it so much. So if you're into that, subscribe, hit the bell, give me a like. I'll appreciate it so much. Imagination, the workshop of the mind. The fifth step towards riches. The imagination is literally the workshop wherein are fashioned all plans created by man. The impulse, the desire, is given shape, form, and action through the aid of the imaginative faculty of the mind. It has been said that man can create anything which he can imagine. Through the aid of his imaginative faculty, man has discovered and harnessed more of nature's forces during the past 50 years than during the entire history of the human race previous to that time. He has conquered the air so completely that the birds are a poor match for him in flying. He has analyzed and weighed the sun at a distance of millions of miles and has determined through the aid of imagination, the elements of which it consists. He has increased the speed of locomotion until he may now travel at a speed of more than 600 miles an hour. Man's only limitation within reason lies in his development and use of his imagination. He has not yet reached the apex of development in the use of his imaginative faculty. He has merely discovered that he has an imagination and has commenced to use it in a very elementary way. Two forms of imagination. The imaginative faculty function in two forms. One is known as synthetic imagination and the other as creative imagination. Synthetic imagination. Through this faculty, one may arrange old concepts, ideas, or plans into new combinations. This faculty creates nothing. It merely works with the material of experience, education, and observation with which it is fed. It is a faculty used most by the inventor, with the exception of the genius who draws upon the creative imagination when he cannot solve his problem through synthetic imagination. Creative imagination. Through the faculty of creative imagination, the finite mind of man has direct communication with the infinite intelligence. Wow. It is the faculty through which hunches and inspirations are received. It is by this faculty that all basic or new ideas are handed over to man. It is through this faculty that one individual may tune in or communicate with the subconscious minds of other men. The creative imagination works automatically in the manner described in subsequent pages. This faculty functions only when the conscious mind is working at an exceedingly rapid rate. As for example, when the conscious mind is stimulated through the emotion of a strong desire. The creative faculty becomes more alert in proportion to its development through use. The great leaders of business, industry, finance, and the great artists, musicians, poets, and writers become great because they develop the faculty of creative imagination. Both synthetic and creative faculties of imagination become more alert with use of just as any muscle or organ of the body develops through use. Desire is only a thought and impulse. It is nebulous and ephemeral. It is abstract and of no value until it has been transformed into its physical counterpart. While the synthetic imagination is the one which will be used most frequently in the process of transforming the impulse of desire into money, you must keep in mind the fact that you may face circumstances and situations which demand the use of the creative imagination as well. Give your imagination some exercise. Your imaginative faculty may have become weak through inaction. It can be revived and made alert through use. This faculty does not die, though it may become quiescent through lack of use. Center your attention for the time being on the development of synthetic imagination, because this is the faculty which you will use more often in the process of converting desire into money. Transforming of the intangible impulse of desire into the tangible reality of money calls for the use of a plan or plans. These plans must be formed with the aid of the imagination and mainly with the synthetic faculty. Read the entire book through, then come back to this chapter and begin at once to put your imagination to work on the building of a plan or plans for the transformation of your desire into money. Detailed instructions for the building of plans have been given in almost every chapter. Carry out the instruction best suited to your needs. Reduce your plan to writing if you have not already done so. The moment you complete this, you will have definitely given concrete form to the intangible desire. Read the preceding sentence once more. Read it aloud very slowly, and as you do, remember that the moment you reduce the statement of your desire and a plan for its realization to writing, you have actually taken the first of a series of steps which will enable you to convert the thought into its physical counterpart. What I would do if I had $1 million. This story proves the truth of that old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. It was told to me by that beloved educator and clergyman, the late Frank W. Gonzalez, who began his preaching career in the Stockyards region of Chicago. While Dr. Gonzalez was going through college, he observed many defects in our educational system, defects which he believed he could correct if he were the head of a college. He made up his mind to organize a new college in which he could carry out his ideas without being handicapped by orthodox methods of education. He needed $1 million to put the project across. Where was he to lay his hand on so large a sum of money? That was the question that absorbed most of this ambitious young preacher's thought. But he couldn't seem to make any progress. Every night he took that thought to bed with him. He got up with it in the morning. He took it with him everywhere he went. He turned it over and over in his mind until it became a consuming obsession with him. Being a philosopher as well as a preacher, Dr. Gonzalez recognized, as so all who succeed in life, that definiteness of purpose is the starting point from which one must begin. He recognized too that definiteness of purpose takes on animation, life, and power when backed by a burning desire to translate that purpose into its material equivalent. He knew all these great truths, but yet he did not know where or how to lay his hands on $1 million. The natural procedure would have been to give up and quit by saying, well, my idea is a good one, but I cannot do anything with it because I could never procure such the necessary $1 million. This is exactly what the majority of people would have said, but it is not what Dr. Gonzalez said. What he said and what he did are so important that I now introduce him and let him speak for himself. One Saturday afternoon, I sat in my room thinking of ways and means of raising the money to carry out my plans. For nearly 2 years, I had been thinking, but I had done nothing but think. The time had come for action. I made up my mind then and there that I would get the necessary $1,000,000 within a week. How? I was not concerned about that. The main thing of importance was the decision to get the money within a specified time, and I will tell you that the moment I reached a definite decision to get the money within a specified time, a strange feeling of assurance came over me, such as I had never experienced before. Something inside me seemed to say, "Why didn't you reach that decision a long time ago? The money was waiting for you all the time." Things began to happen in a hurry. I called the newspapers and announced I would preach a sermon the following morning entitled, "What I Would Do If I Had $1,000,000." I went to work on the sermon immediately, but I must tell you frankly, the task was not difficult because I had been preparing for that sermon for almost 2 years. Long before midnight, I had finished writing the sermons. I went to bed and slept with a feeling of confidence, for I could see myself already in possession with the $1,000,000. Next morning, I arose early, went into the bathroom, read the sermon, then knelt on my knees and asked that my sermon might come to the attention of someone who would supply the needed money. While I was praying, I again had the feeling of assurance that the money would be forthcoming. In my excitement, I walked out without my sermon and did not discover the oversight until I was in my pulpit and about to ready to begin delivering it. It was too late to go back for my notes, and what a blessing that I couldn't go back. Instead, my own subconscious mind yielded the material I needed. When I arose to begin my sermon, I closed my eyes and spoke with all my heart and soul of my dreams. I not only talked to my audience, but I fancy I talked also to God. I told what I would do with $1,000,000 if I had the amount in my hands. I described the plan I had in my mind for organizing a great educational institution where young people would learn to do practical things and at the same time develop their minds. When I had finished and sat down, a man slowly arose from his seat about 3 rows from the rear and made his way toward the pulpit. I wondered what he was going to do. He came into the pulpit, extended his hand and said, "Reverend, I liked your sermon. I believe you can do everything you said you would if you had $1,000,000. To prove that I believe in you and your sermon, if you will come to my office tomorrow morning, I will give you the $1,000,000. My name is Philip D. Amor." Young Gonzalez went to Mr. Amor's office and the $1,000,000 was presented to him. With the money, he founded the Amor Institute of Technology, now known as Illinois Institute of Technology. The necessary $1,000,000 came as a result of an idea. Back of the idea was a desire which young Gonzalez had been nursing in his mind for almost 2 years. Observe this important fact. He got the money within 36 hours after he reached a definite decision in his own mind to get it, and decided upon a definite plan for getting it. There was nothing new or unique about young Gonzalez's vague thinking about $1,000,000 and weakly hoping for it. Others before him and many since his time had done similar thoughts, but there was something very unique different about the decision he reached on that memorable Saturday, when he put vagueness into the background and definitely said, "I will get that money within a week." Moreover, the principle through which Dr. Gonzalez got his $1,000,000 is still alive. It is available to you. This universal law is as workable today as it was when the young preacher made use of it so successfully. That Asa Candler and Dr. Frank Gonzalez had one characteristic in common. Both knew the astounding truth that ideas can be transmuted into cash through the power of definite purpose plus definite plans. If you are one of those who believe that hard work and honesty alone will bring you riches, perish the thought. It is not true. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work alone. Riches come, if they come at all, in the response to definite demands based upon the application of definite principles and not by chance or luck. Generally speaking, an idea is an impulse of thought that impels action by an appeal to the imagination. All master salesmen know that ideas can be sold where merchandise cannot. Ordinary salesmen do not know this. That is why they are ordinary. So that wraps up this week's reading. The next chapter is called Organized Planning. So much for being here and learning with me. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share to someone that you think this would be of benefit to. So until next time, I love you. Bye.
Yeah.